Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter welcoming you to another Degrassiism. This time, as promised, like a couple of weeks ago, I promised the Reddit community about the top 10 Emma moments because I did the top, what was it, 15 worst Emma moments or top 10 worst Emma moments? I can't remember what the number was. Like, was it top 10 worst or top 10 best? I just have to look at my Degrassiisms. And all that. Because I know I've done a lot of Degrassiisms recently. So, yeah. So, top 10 Emma mistakes. So it was a top 10. And 2 months ago, okay? So, I tried to figure out what the best Emma moments were of all time. And I wrote them down. Wrote down some of my own good ones. And listened to the Degrassi Reddit community. And they gave me some. There were some decent ones. So, I got to two polls of six, and obviously the top 10 would move on. The lower two in the 7 to 12 poll didn't make it, and all that. So 192 people did vote for this one, and the two that failed to make the oh, sorry, that's for the whoops, wrong one. What am I thinking? Sorry, the 7 to 12 had 120 votes, so people did not like that. So the top four qualified through it. The two that failed to make it was Mirroring Spinner at the end of season 9 and Standing Up to Radish and Fight for Your Right season 2. I was actually shocked that didn't make the top four. I was hoping for that because going into my tirade against Radish, but whatever. All right, so here we go. Number 10 on the list, with 19 votes in the 7 to 12 vote. Number 10 was Telling Shane Not to Hurt Her Mom, season 3 premiere. So in season 3, Spike's ready to give birth to a new baby sibling for Emma. Emma's put out through drills about the birth and all that. And then all of a sudden, she was called Emma Simpson, and it's supposed to be Emma Nelson. Emma blows off and tells Snake, "Did you tell the school to change my name to Simpson?" The secretary knew that you were my daughter, but I guess made the connection and didn't ask you if you wanted to change your name. So anyway, Emma wants to talk about her father because, Snake being a father, wants to talk about her father, but Spike is of little help. Caitlin doesn't help her out, saying that Spike's entitled to her privacy. Emma decides to find out about Shane McKay, finds a doctor, but he's not a doctor. But he's not the right one. So she goes through the alumni things of Snake and finds Shane McKay living in Stouffville, which is a real place, by the way, and finds Shane fidgeting with things and living in a place for mentally unstable individuals, like a hospice, if you will, for the brain damaged. So the fact is that she finds out about Shane. She gets in trouble because she misses the train from Stouffville back to Toronto, and Joey has to go pick up her and Craig, and Spike's not too pleased. Emma blows off at Spike, but Snake does the right thing by telling Emma that the whole thing with Shane and Spike was that Shane's parents did not want Shane involved in Spike's pregnancy at all. So there were problems. Shane took acid, jumped off a bridge, or fell off. We don't know, but he has no problems. And Emma says, "Well, why didn't she tell me this stuff? She was waiting till you were getting older," and that was probably the bad thing. But Emma, she's concerned about you. And then Emma finally realizes her fuzzy memory when she was 3 was at a hospital, but a mental hospital. So Shane ends up getting Emma's address and then comes in to confront Spike, sending her into labor. Emma then tells Shane to stay away from her mom unless they don't want to communicate. So unfortunately, we don't find out much about Shane after that, which sucks. But, Emma welcomes baby Jack in the world. All right, so number 9 on the list with 19 points, was 20 points, sorry, in this poll, was Fighting Alex Season 3. Man, a lot of things with Season 3. All that. So anyway, Fighting Alex was just huge and all that. Emma had problems. In the episode in which Ashley Spinner and Paige ditch school to see Terry and do some wacky ventures in an homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the subplot was that Emma and JT were forced to scrub de-ghost computers for talking in class. So they do, but then Emma finds out about her dad's computer and then finds a will about it, and Emma thinks the worst, that the leukemia treatments are getting worse. She's in a daze and all that, and then Alex comes in and causes trouble, saying that everyone hates your opinion, that you're holier than thou thing. Emma decides to fight her. It's a fair fight, and Alex does get her butt handed to her by Emma. Emma gets sore and all that. Snake comes in and asks Emma what's gotten into you, and then Emma basically said, "I read your will," and all that. And Snake says, "Well, that's just in case things don't work out." Fortunately for Snake, his leukemia is into remission, and Emma doesn't have to worry so much after all. Number 8 on the list, with 28 votes in the 7 to 12 poll, was Embracing Toby and Time Stands Still. Emma was really up against it in this whole Time Stands Still thing. She got into it because she heard about how much Rick abused Terry and wanted to start a movement to get Rick out silently with their Orange Ribbon campaign about buying ribbons to support domestic violence. And the simple fact was that, Emma used that kind of to get in a friend group because she lost Manny and Liberty over Emma's pettiness about Liberty being with Chris. And Emma deserved it. Let's not forget that. She could have also used it to stick it to Raditch, who basically told Emma to stay out of this. Is not one of your stupid crusades. Are you crazy, Raditch? No wonder she has a grudge against you. But the simple fact is that, she gets involved. She finds out that her cause is not taken for the money, and even though Rick wants to give over $500 to her to help the cause, Emma wants to take the check, but Alex rips it up, saying that that's wrong, you're not supposed to do that. And Emma says, "You don't know anything about this cause," and Alex basically tells Emma off, saying, "You're wrong, Greenpeace," or whatever you want to call her. So the fact of the matter is that Emma's not too pleased and all that. Emma's told not to have sympathy towards Rick. She tries to prove her loyalty, but then after everyone beats up Rick, she said enough is enough. She loses her cause and loses that friend group, so she's stuck with the trivia group of Toby, bleh, what am I talking about? Toby, Rick, and Heather, soon to be replaced by Jimmy. So anyway, she gets a quiz competition. Rick is making creepy advances towards her. She doesn't see it. And then she finally blows off at Rick, saying, "I pitied you, get a clue," and leaves him holding the trophy with his suit being painted and feathered. Rick goes back to the school with the gun, wants to shoot Paige, but doesn't. Paige calms him down, puts his gun in his locker, and then Spinner and Jay trick him into shooting Jimmy. And then that's when Rick finds Emma and attempts to shoot her, but Sean saves the day. And then, the montage at the end of Time Stands Still Part 2 was powerful. Spinner feeling angry about what he did to himself. Paige and Hazel and others are holding a vigil over Jimmy's body. The news reports and all that, Sean watching with Ellie, Joey, Craig, and family watching that. And then, of course, the vigil at the end at Degrassi, in which Emma embraces Toby. They both went through a lot in that thing. They both were there, when Toby blew off over the news reports. And, Toby and me conflicted. That's my friend, but still. So anyway, yeah, helping Toby out was one thing. But, of course, Emma went into her silent phase. Zombie Emma phase. And number 7 on the list, who won the 7 to 12 poll, was helping out with Snake's leukemia season 3. So speaking of the leukemia thing, that's what happened. Emma had a lot more pressure on her in season 3. She had to deal with a new baby sibling, and Snake not doing so well because of his leukemia, and it could be harmful. Emma kind of overreacts to it, but Emma's just concerned about things and all that. But she does a good job handling things, even though she loses Sean in the process, who decides to go to the Candy Bandits. She feels compelled to help Snake out. This wasn't the last time that she would be helping Snake out in any sense of the word. And that does make the top 6. All right, so the top 6 got 192 votes. And there wasn't really much competition for the first two, for the top 2. Third place actually had a tight battle between 3rd and 4th, and then 5th and 6th was tight. Okay, here we go. Number 6 with 14 votes was Taking in Manny Season 5. I kind of thought this was going to be top 3, but no. So what happened in Season 5 is that Emma laments that she wants to be with Peter, but says that Peter is the first boy she's thought about since Hurricane Sean blew through my emotional trailer park. Of course, I did a seed duel about that statement saying, did she pass over Chris on purpose, or is she thinking Sean from Season 4? Because remember, Emma kind of did have feelings towards Sean in the aftermath of Time Stands Still. Because, I mean, Sean saved her life, and Emma thought that maybe Sean wasn't so bad after all. He did save her life. Could have easily left Emma high and dry. Emma was upset when Sean decided to go back to Wasaga Beach to deal with his PTSD. He does leave Ellie high and dry, and Emma looking upset. Of course, Emma goes through a lot of things that I will talk about in a Season 4 thing I'll talk about later. But anyway, Season 5 is when Manny have problems. Manny is forced to date Peter, but Peter does blackmail Manny for $3,000 for the breast bearing video. You know, I'm gonna be famous. So the simple fact is that, you know, Manny can't come up with the cash. Peter decides, you know what, screw it, I'm sending the video everyone. Emma looks at the video, and instead of being upset over Manny flashing her breast, she's more upset with the fact that she was with Peter. You're stealing my guy. I'm supposed to be with this guy. Of course, Emma, as usual, jumps to conclusions much too quickly. But after Manny gets kicked off the Spirit Squad, thrown out of her house by her parents, even though that it was overacting more than anything else, Manny had no place to stay. And Emma, I guess maybe Spike and Snake said something, but Emma decides to take Manny in until Manny's parents basically cool down, which will take a while. So she takes in Manny. It's a nice move, and Emma, you know, apologizes, I guess, for jumping the gun. And they both want to destroy Peter, but Emma is smitten with Peter. I guess she wanted a guy around her to protect her from a Rick Murray type. Who knows? But anyway, I can't be the only guy to think that. But anyway, yeah. But, I mean, I think it's low on this list because of the simple fact that it may be a selfish move by Emma. Basically, now she has Manny in her possession, and if Manny objects to things, Emma can throw her out. Emma probably could have. But, yeah. It's just not fair. Well, Manny leaves in Season 6 in the wake of the JT stabbing. I mean, steps from Emma's house at a party that should not have been thrown at Emma's house. Emma feels betrayed, thinking that Manny's trying to move on from her, and acts out inappropriately. She does have some concerns, which is validated, but still, that's just terrible. Everyone tells her that she needs to fix her problems with Manny. She does, and then she stays with Manny and becomes kind of a clingy friend in the process. Find me on it. Number 5 on the list with 17 votes was helping Simpson deal with Darcy's accusation in Season 7. So here's what happened. So in Season 7, Darcy goes on a ski weekend with Manny and Peter. Darcy's convinced that she and Peter had sex, even though Darcy was not supposed to have sex with Peter before marriage. But then all of a sudden, she ends up being naked and on the couch and all that. So she basically gets taken advantage of. She gets roofied. Darcy can't find her accuser. Probably will never know her accuser. Gets thrown out of the Christian club. Is made a pariah. Decides to slit her wrist in the shower. Thankfully, Manny saves her butt. And, you know, Darcy is just upset, self-loathing and all that. What's worse is that Darcy has issues. Simpson does come to Darcy, says, "What's your problem?" And Darcy threatens to harm herself if Simpson didn't help her. So Darcy has the affection with Simpson. Simpson tells Hatzalakos something's fishy, so he sets up a meeting with Hatzalakos and Darcy's mom. Darcy then blurts out that Snake's been inappropriate with her. Simpson's not too happy, saying that Darcy's lying and all that, but Hatzalakos says we have to investigate. Simpson's off school grounds until further notice. Emma blows a gasket at Darcy and all that. Darcy decides to jump off the roof, but Manny saves her butt, and then Darcy tells everyone the full truth and hopes Simpson's job is saved. Simpson said that it could be, but they still have to investigate. They probably think I said something to you to turn back, but no, it wasn't. But the fact of the matter is that Simpson was, even though that he was cleared to go back to school, just had the issues because the Lakers students just had to be pricks, especially Lucas. And Emma was trying to help the situation. Unfortunately, Spike gets mad, saying that don't let Emma help you out because if she takes control, she might have an eating disorder. What a bitch move, Spike. I'm sorry, but that's a bitch move. So anyway, Emma is not too pleased with Spike being a bitch. Although, Spike has good intentions. So anyway, she decides to help Snake when Spike decides to leave with Jack and possibly Emma to her mom's house, but Emma stays behind because someone has to be an adult about the situation. She helps Snake get better, and then, Spike comes back. So Emma had some issues, but she did quite well. She had the right to worry. Anyways, so that is it. Speaking of season 7, that's where number 4 is. Number 4 was the Purple Dragon protest in season 7. This was actually the episode before Snake got in trouble with Darcy and got accused of things. I'll explain why. So anyway, season 7, Emma tries out for the Purple Dragon squad because Purple Dragon wants to sponsor Degrassi. And I'm thinking, Degrassi has to go through corporate sponsorship? Are you crazy? Degrassi must be so low on funds, they're desperate with Purple Dragon energy drink or whatever the fuck it is. So anyway, Emma decides to try out because everyone said she was predictable and bland. So logically, Emma decides to do it. And she ends up winning the spot. But she gets told about her dress size and, she feels bad about herself. She rejects food at first, but then she realizes she can't go back to her unhealthy habits in season 5. So she's like, screw it. I'm going to eat and I'm going to do well for my mental health. And all that. And she decides to take the stage at a Purple Dragon thing at Degrassi and says that they're forcing bad stuff on you and all that. And people are upset. Armstrong does not want Emma protesting as Purple Dragon. Are you fucking nuts? So Natasha says, you can't wear that dress while protesting. Fine. So she strips off naked. Of course, we see her from the back. In Degrassi, in the US, you see her in a thong. But then in Canada, you see her bare butt. It's like, wow, Canada did that? So yeah, Manny covers her up. Everyone is shocked, especially Simpson. Fortunately for Emma, she gets many detentions, but she doesn't get in trouble. She doesn't get suspended or anything. Because Hatzalakos kind of cuts her a break and all that. I mean, after all, Hatzalakos did have a truce with Snake. Probably why. But also that, Hatzalakos said Emma was right. Purple Dragon was stupid. Purple Dragon still would sponsor in Degrassi, but Purple Dragon would change their policy. So at least Emma made a change. And of course, as I said, when I started this entry, I said that it was the episode before the Darcy thing. Here's why. Because Snake said, please, Emma, no more drama over the rest of the school year. I can't live with it. Or something similar to that. Ironically, the next episode, he's canned. Whoopsies. Number 3 is, with 27 votes, is the famous situation. You gave me a social disease. Anyway, so when I talked about season 4, I stopped at a critical point, when time stands still. Emma seemed to be fine after time stands still for a few episodes, especially in Voices Carrie, the 2-parter. She actually was part of the drama club. She seemed okay with that. She seemed okay. Like, she didn't really feel it bad. But then Secret comes a couple episodes after that. And then we learn that Emma's been withdrawn. She's having problems. She's such an zombie face, she doesn't notice Jay trying to grope her. Are you crazy? Emma just terrible. Perino chides her for lack of participation. Snake and Spike talk about her problems because, she keeps being in and out of Dracula. She's not having friends over. She's not going out. Something's wrong. Emma tries to prove to them that there's nothing wrong with me. Everything is just in your head. But unfortunately, something is, and Emma is withdrawn. She goes through a routine with Jay trying to get control. I guess as a way, because Jay is with Sean, that maybe it is a Sean thing. I believe so. Emma gets in trouble for sneaking out 2 in the morning. She cries crocodile tears that she couldn't sleep and decided to go for a walk. You're dressed up to be out. You're dressed up in such a way. If you were just wearing plain clothes, okay, fine. But definitely you can't get away with it. That was easy to see. Snake tries to help Emma out. Manny tries to help Emma out. And then, Emma hears about a gonorrhea outbreak and that Alex and Amy both got gonorrhea from Jay's infected you-know-what. So Emma realizes that when she gave Jay a blowjob, she might have gotten that too. Of course, the scope of it was that she was starting to lose her voice and almost couldn't perform in the play. Fortunately, though, Manny and Liberty jump in for Alex and Amy. And then Manny tells Emma something's wrong and all that. This isn't the Emma we all know and love. And I thought that Emma said, the Emma you all love was the Emma you all hated or something. I don't know. But no, that wasn't it. Emma's male lead does not kiss her and all that ruins it. Says, you ruined it. Well, I'm not the one with gonorrhea. And then Emma realizes it and tells Jay off stage, you gave me a social disease. Jay's like, yeah, but I thought you were virtuous. That's why I went after you. Somehow, I don't feel virtuous at all. We all know you're falling behind and all that. And then for some strange reason, that gets Emma to snap out of her zombie Emma phase and become a normal Emma. Although Emma does say that she needs to go to the clinic, and it's assumed she has gonorrhea, I guess. But, at least she got rid of it. You can get rid of it. Alex never had signs of gonorrhea afterwards. But the simple fact is that Emma probably in a way was upset with herself, saying that maybe she had something to do with the Rick situation and it was just making her guilty. But, internalizing things was Emma's biggest faux pas. I mean, yeah, her cause girl thing and friendship issues with Manny are also a bad character trait, but her internalization stuff is the character trait we all need to go after. Unpopular opinion, it is. Number 2 with 49 votes was defending Manny's right for the abortion in season 3. Now, I'm shocked this is not number 1. But you know what? This is probably going to give me a opportunity to do a seed duel. Maybe that's what I'll do. Aha! I'll do the seed duel in light of the Degrassi thing. I think this was number 1. I voted for it, saying defending Manny's right to get an abortion. Okay, this wasn't completely a perfect moment for Emma, but it was a good Emma moment nonetheless. So season 3 happens. Emma and Manny are at crossroads with each other. Emma does not like Manny parading herself and sexualizing herself, especially for Sully. And then having the thong inside the pants. And Manny says that my sexual attraction is what's helping you in your environmental club. And Emma's like, okay, fine, but no, I just can't anymore. This is not me. This isn't it. And then Manny scolds Emma, saying that I've been there for you for a lot of things. And you just can't do it. You're petty and jealous. Of course, Manny gets in trouble for the underwear outside the pants. You can't have that in schools. And that's still to this day. So Manny goes commando, but JT saves her butt. I think Emma wanted JT and Manny to date, not Manny and Sully. But unfortunately, Manny and Emma's friendship has cracks in it. And then they go to a rave in which Manny tells Emma to go after Chris, but Emma thinks that Chris has a girlfriend and does not want to hurt Melinda or whatever her name was. And then Manny was being hypocritical by going after Craig, who was with Ashley, supposed to be with Ashley in season 3, and then, they sleep together on Emma's bed. Emma's pissed off, tells Manny off, and Manny says that you went to the rave too with Chris. Yeah, but I left because I couldn't be evil. So they basically yell at each other. They don't want to be friends. Manny doesn't want to be friends with a prudish princess, and Emma calls Manny the school slut. So their friendship is basically ruined, and then Manny finds out she's pregnant via Spike in a pregnancy test. Spike tells Manny that maybe her parents will be okay with this pregnancy, but Manny's like, no, because my cousin Mary was sent to the Philippines to a convent because of this. Whoopsies. So yeah, so Manny doesn't know how to deal with things. Emma tries to help out by basically saying, hey, you know what? We'll babysit my infant brother. No, it didn't work out that well. Manny then decides to go with the abortion thing. Emma says that there's great adoption agencies. Do that. It would be a lot easier. But Manny says, I can't have this kid right now. And then when Craig gives her a tongue lashing, Emma steps in and says that, Craig, I know you're right. You have the right to be mad. But it's Manny's body, her choice. And if she wasn't my best friend, I'd be furious. And Manny was shocked that Emma would actually step in and protect her. She was like, what? She was very shocked that Emma would do such a thing like that. But Emma did it for her own good. I think in a sense Emma probably did it for her own ego. Well, maybe not. But Emma did have a point. Saying that, you know, Manny deserves better. And all that. Now, a couple of things come to mind. Number one is that maybe Emma wanted to be Manny's friend again and patch things up by playing to Manny's level, but people said that, no, Emma and Manny were friends, were keeping connected. I think it just took a couple episodes before they finally got back together as friends. And number two, and the main one for me, is that I think that Snake and Spike must have Spike especially may have said something, because after all, Manny confided in Spike this step, and Spike probably realized to Emma that Manny needs all the friendship and help. And besides, Emma's right. You know, she can still be anti-abortion, but help her best friend by saying it's her right to choose. It is the woman's right to choose. That's my stance on abortion. It's the woman's right to choose. It's not the man's. And number one, with 61 votes, and the one that kind of makes me go cringe, is defending her period in season 1. All the way in season 1. That tells you something. When Emma's been around for 9 seasons, and season 1 was her best moment. Ugh. But yeah, so I didn't really watch that episode. Like season 1, I don't remember as much. But, you know, it's a girl's time, and, you know, Emma's headed towards puberty and all that. And then she ends up getting her period in class. She has to make a presentation. The boys laugh at her, but Emma basically owns it by basically saying that, you know, it's a feminine thing, right, Miss Kwan? And, you know, she basically owns JT's ass and all that. And everyone else's. So she defends her period and all that. It's a woman's menstruation thing. I kind of cringe at that, but, you know, yeah. But the reason why I'm not happy with this one is because, well, that one won over Manny, defending Manny over the abortion. And also, it's season 1. Ick. That tells you a lot. I guess a lot of Emma hate. Whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.